report and for pains now her convoy was attacked. She was nowhere near the scene of the incident. Persons who were involved in the incident have avoided speaking with the task force, while Muhammad Ali and others who were in the Mahindra pickup truck and fired shots from their vehicle. Yusuf Larry Idris died from a gunshot, and those who were in the Mahindra pickup with him know what happened. The driver of the Mahindra has been traced and further investigation is ongoing. The task force will continue with the investigation. Tolong constituency, that's Nyankpala. The observation of the task force is that there is the presence of sophisticated weapons in the Tolong and Nyankpala communities, and the level of sophistication is a matter of pride among the youth in particular. Money was distributed on the UDS campus for vote buying on the said election day, that's 2024. The allegation of vote buying was not reported to the EC officials or the security agencies. Security response to the violence was very swift and decisive. Suspect Alhaji Yakubu Abdul Latif Kopshi and Sankara led a team of armed men to Nyankpala and engaged in indiscriminate firing of guns, during which the late Shaibu Haruna was killed and 5 others were injured. The task force recommends that suspects Alhaji Yakubu Abdul Latif Kopshi and Sankara are being pursued and will be arrested, investigated, and prosecuted. They have all fled the community. The family of the late Shaibu Haruna and those who suffered injuries should be compensated by the state. The National Small Arms Commission, other state authorities, and traditional leaders should sensitize the members of the two communities of Tolong and Nyankpala on the dangers associated with the kind of weapons being held by individuals and the right channel to follow when offended by others. Since the investigation did not produce any evidence against the 6 persons arrested by police during the stop and search exercise conducted immediately after the incident, they should be discharged while efforts are directed at arresting those who actually engaged in the firing. The regional police commander should engage the district officer, the PID director, and suspect Alhaji Yakubu Abdul Latif Kopshi and his gang in order to hasten prosecution. The report has been forwarded to the AG for the compensation to the deceased family and the injured. Damango constituency at Damango. The observation of the task force is that supporters were unruly, riotous, and caused damage to property and threatened life. When the rampaging crowd saw the police firing warning shot and started fleeing, the police did not have need to direct their shot at the escaping crowd. It was one such shot that killed the late Sabelina Bukaila. Arrested are currently being prosecuted for the compensation to the deceased family. Nkuranza South constituency in Nkuranza. The observation of the task force is that there were 16 involved, and when they were screened, 5 have been identified as being in the group who were present during the incident. One soldier, Last Corporal Dakwa Dramina Ochre, who was identified as having shot the late Abdul Karim Rafiq alias Tyson, admitted shooting him but justified his action by saying that he saw the deceased trying to disarm his colleague, that's Private Boahin Francis, and that the deceased had drawn a cutlass to slash his colleague. Private Boahin Francis, who could not collate this evidence in full since he was trying to pick up the magazine of his M16 rifle, which had fallen during the struggle when he heard the shot. The evidence collected so far does not show that the deceased committed any breach of the law. The military personnel who were deployed to the collation center had a duty to prevent any interference with the electoral process, and they were also required to maintain and restore peace whenever this order threatened. The recommendation of the task force is that the family of the Abdul Karim Rafiq be compensated for the untimely death of the deceased. Yet the report too has been forwarded to the Attorney General for advice and the compensation, because it involves this soldier that is well established that he really fired the shot. So that has been forwarded to the Attorney General for advice. Offensive North constituency, that's Akumadan. The task force realized that the incident led to the to take over the fertilizer in the warehouse. The late Solomon Gibril lost his life as a result of stray bullets. The task force, through discreet investigation, identified 12 suspects as those who attacked and subsequently lynched deceased Jacob Nlo. 5 of the 12 have been arrested and before the Kumasi High Court 4, Kumasi, and are currently in prison custody, yet to meet their bail condition. The others are on the run, and the police is making every effort to get them arrested to face justice. For Ano Southwest, that's Mankranso, the observation of the task force was that a chaotic situation at the collation center caused damage to property and almost brought the collation process to a halt. There was therefore the need for the military men to intervene. However, directing rifle shots at the crowd cannot be an acceptable crowd control method, since it endangers the life of fleeing youth and bystanders, including the late Dominic Nimo, who was some in a screening exercise. 11 soldiers were identified as those detailed at the constituency center in Mankranso on the December 7, 2024. 8 of the soldiers interviewed admitted firing warning shots alongside the police to disperse the mob, which was attacking the collation center. They denied firing into the crowd and further said that they were not aware that anybody was hit by a bullet during the process. There was no doubt that the late Dominic Nimo died from a shot fired by the soldiers. Similarly, the 4 victims also got their injuries through the same process. The recommendation of the special task force is that the family of the late Dominic, as well as the 4 persons who sustained the gunshots injuries, should be compensated by the state. The report has since been forwarded to the Attorney General for advice and the compensations to the families of the deceased and the injured persons. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is worth noting that the report has been sent to the Office of the Attorney General for further actions and prosecutions. As Minister for Interior, I want to assure the public that government under the Excellency Dramani Mahama is committed to upholding the rule of law and to ensuring that all those responsible for the violence are held accountable. Government will continue to work with all stakeholders to strengthen the country are peaceful. The Honorable Minister, thank you so much for your attention.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that comprehensive and detailed breakdown of the outcome of investigation so far. I know that there are many of you who have many questions agitating your mind, so we'll open the floor for you to ask any questions that you deem necessary to elicit the appropriate responses. In the interest of time, we are only able to take 5 questions. So if you have a question, please put up your hand, walk up to the front here, identify yourself, and go straight to your question. So the Minister will conduct the question and answer session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Christopher Kevin Asima. I work with CTFM and Channel 1 TV. Honorable Minister, we all know how important this is to the country and also to the President. And in your report from the task force, we've seen that they've done a comprehensive job. They've engaged the people. In some cases, they are still meeting the people. In the reports, some identified that there were stray bullets there, and then we've seen the results of the stray bullets. Are there also going to be some form of forensic analysis of some of the bullets to really determine who it came from, where it came from, so that whoever is culprit, like you've indicated, that they are there going to be forensic analysis to determine some of the bullets, where it came from, and who it killed, so that we can bring justice to the matter? Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. My name is Bernard Kedazi from Oyepa TV and Oyepa FM. I wanted to find out what measures are being put in place to prevent election violence. Thank you.
Please, good afternoon, everyone, and then good afternoon, Minister. Please, I'd like to ask, I'm Tawfiq Abdurrahman from DM Media, and I'd like to ask, the previous government actually rejected key parts of evidence that was gotten from the by-election. So I would like to ask if you can actually assure Ghanaians what, if the government is willing to put steps together to make sure that these, if claims are being made, they are not actually rejected. And then I'd like to ask what steps the ministry is taking to make sure that incidents like this do not happen further in the future.
Well, let me, okay, because
yeah, just to top up what you just said about I also West Wagon, you did indicate that the report is going to be fully implemented. You did not give the details of what is entails in the report. So I want to find out what really is in the report. Yeah.
Well, let me thank you so much. I thought that in the case of the Iros West Wagon, the report was published. So it's a public, what do you call it, knowledge. And now, with all humility and respect, I'm sure that if you Google, you'll see them. But most importantly, to link it up to what the earlier questioner asked, if you read the recommendation of the MSHOT, specifically, I think paragraph 3.5 and 5.5, there he even stated that further investigations could be carried on. That further investigations could be carried on. So they didn't make it very conclusive. But our effort is to, one, make sure that even the recommendation that they made, where they mention some individuals for prosecutions, needs to be done. They mention some individuals for some actions to be taken. We need to ensure that those 3.5 and 5.5, where the commission itself said that further investigation should be done. So we are keeping our doors open, because like we said, until justice is done, we will not be able to bring this unfortunate incident to a stop. And to add it up to what we are doing to prevent these things from happening, you see that both the task force report, first page to the last page, even though they have not finished, they have made a lot of recommendations. For example, why should security people who are going for election monitoring be in hooded masks? What are you hiding? Why should you mask your face? I mean, they made recommendation about coordination. So, for example, if you decide to bring immigration officers, fire service officers, the military and the police to embark on, what do you call it, an election activity, the recommendation is that why not let them train together? Let them have a coordination. They will have a coordination among themselves. Don't give gadgets to only the superior officers. Make sure that all those who are on the election activity are holding the gadgets so they can communicate effectively. All these things are part of the recommendations that they have made. But because, like I said, the process is not comprehensive and it's not completed, and we are already looking at it, and I see that support just around the time we finish the election. The special task force has made. So I can assure you, as the Minister for Interior, under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we are not going to make this a kind of one-off thing. The usual thing, when something happens, then we will just talk about it, try and create some report, and allow the report to be creating dust, and then that marks the end of it. No, we can assure you that you can see from the work that they are doing. We are empowering them, we are giving them the resources, and I can bet you, the team, I can see some of the members of the special team here, because they are CIDs, I don't need to mention their names. And they will tell you, I even took the pain to meet them, to encourage them, to let them know they have my full backing and the backing of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to carry out this function without fear or favor. And to have imagined that even the army had to cooperate with them, because in all, 50 men from the military were interrogated by the task force. It tells you that we really want to bring this matter to an end by making sure that all the perpetrators are dealt with. To link this to the first question that we were asking, whether we're going to do forensic, in fact, we are not doing only forensic. They tell that we're even doing ballistic analysis. But one of the challenges that we are having is that if you take the gun that fired a shot in 2020, and between the 2020 and now, it has fired so many others, it makes it very difficult to do the tracing and mapping. But I'm sure, together with the special task force, with our CID, PID, and even the military, what we call intelligence, we work so hard. And I don't want to preempt the conclusion of this, because in some of the cases that we are not able to bring finality, we need to be sure that is it the best that we can do. If there's something other than what the CID is doing that we have to do, I want to assure you that under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, that will be done, because it's not just about identifying people and compensating them, but making sure that the perpetrators are brought to book, and that will be really our effort. So yes, I can assure you that we'll leave no stone unturned. We'll make sure that we'll put in measures that will prevent this thing from happening. But I want to say that as citizens, we ourselves need to also be helpful, because you see, when we refuse to give them information, like we are having in bandit information, I mean, people cannot just come because they are CID, they can conjure facts or information. They need people to give them information that can lead them into finding the truth. So we want to encourage our communities to also be supportive of the exercise, so that by the grace of God we'll bring this to a finality. So I don't know if I've answered all, because I didn't write if there are any other
questions, we'll take them at this stage.
Take, yes.
Otherwise we call it a day. All right, so we take it that the minister's briefing has gone down well. Yes. Thank you very much.
So I want to thank all of you for your time. May God continue to bless all of us and continue to make our country great. Thank you so much.
So, thank you, Honorable Minister, for that briefing. As the Minister indicated, this is an ongoing process. So the details that he's provided here relate to what has come to his attention as Minister and what has been presented to His Excellency the President. The President is clear in his mind that finality must be brought to this matter. Those who perpetrated the violence must be held to receive some form of restitution. So on that note, I thank all of you for coming. See you another time.